Brady, and I'm with the Worker Institute at Cornell University, and it's my honor to introduce Zoe West, who has been the lead researcher and author on a critical piece of research that explores the exploitation of workers in the nail salon industry. The ILR Worker Institute is a key institute that explores the sources of economic inequality, poverty, wages, and poor working conditions and precarity. And it is our honor today to be here to support you in your efforts to end the exploitation of nail salon workers. And I turn it over to Zoe West to speak more to the research findings.
Good morning, everyone. I want to start off by thanking all the nail salon workers who participated in our research, as well as the organizations and organizers and advocates who helped make this research possible. So I'm just going to pull up some notes to make sure I don't forget anything. So I'm going to be speaking about a report that we just released called Unvarnished: Precarity and Poor Working Conditions for Nail Salon Workers in New York City. And this research is based on an analysis of government data. We held focus groups with workers in Spanish, Mandarin, Nepali, and in Vietnamese, both in New York City and upstate New York. And we also did a statewide survey of nail salons on pricing and the size of the businesses. And what we found, so many of the things I'm going to say are going to sound familiar because we've heard from workers themselves already. And so some of these things will echo what our colleagues here have said. So nail salon workers in New York are mostly women, mostly immigrant women of color. 88% were born in another country. And we have, in New York, we have the highest concentration of nail technicians nationwide. And we also have manicure prices that are significantly lower than the nationwide average. And what we found in our research is that the legislation and the regulatory changes that have happened since 2015 have been an important step, but they have not been enough. In our research, we found that nail salon workers are still earning low wages, inadequate benefits, and they are largely living in unaffordable housing situations. The average wage for nail salon workers in New York City is under the minimum wage, under the legally required minimum wage. And what we also know from the government data is that it often excludes the most marginalized workers, and so it's likely excluding a lot of the workers who are paid even lower wages. So what we found in our focus groups is that workers are facing substantial economic insecurity, significant stress from dealing with economic insecurity that makes it hard to pay the bills every month. They're facing unpredictable schedules, and they don't have access to workplace benefits. And this insecurity and the precarity that workers are facing ripples out far and wide, because many of these workers are pillars of support for their families and for their communities. And so this insecurity has a very wide impact. What we also found is that this precarity and the insecurity that workers face undermines their ability to speak out about workplace violations. It makes it risky for workers to speak out when they face violation of labor law, but also when they face unfair working conditions. Many workers told us that they simply cannot afford to lose their job. And they have seen retaliation, they have experienced retaliation. And so one of the things that we found is that although there appears to be widespread non-compliance with wage and hour laws, with health and safety laws, it's difficult for workers to speak out about those issues. We also did find in our research, however, that some of the things that make workers feel empowered to speak out include access to training, access to skill building, the the awareness of their rights and the protections that they have as workers, and also the opportunity to take collective action instead of individual action. So, as I mentioned, we found that many nail salons, our research suggests that many nail salon workers are facing wage theft, violations of wage and hour laws, as well as issues with health and safety laws and other protections. That includes inadequate PPE that workers have, ventilation that has not yet been installed, legally required paid sick leave is not being provided. And so these are the reasons that we have workers here advocating for stronger protection. Because part of the problem is that we have some employers not complying with the laws, but the other part of the problem is that the standards are not adequate. And that's what our research indicates. Another thing that I want to recognize is that the